Man, we appreciate y'all very much doing this for us.
Anytime or live, guys. What's up, guys? What is up? Welcome back to another episode of Deck Talk Podcast. And we've got some friends that have been on here before, but I'll let you know this: they sound a whole lot better today than they did the first time. So we, but guys, man, if you don't know, I'm Colin Burnett.
That's right, Colin, and I am Norman Lee. But you know what? Like always, Colin, first things first, we have to take care of our business tonight. The sponsor for tonight's episode is brought to you by Firefly Outdoor and Marine, the #1 navigation lights on the water. What separates Firefly from all the rest? First, we have to talk about their Globe, a high quality, innovative infracting plastic exclusive to Firefly, reducing glare by over 95%, cutting eye blindness that you receive with other typical LED lights, giving you the perception as if you are fishing under a full moon. They offer them in a camo diamond and flake series, as well as a junior diamond series for smaller applications. Also, check out their all new Shore Stacker box, making nighttime bank fishing more enjoyable. Plus, their all new Tep series and Mizu foul weather bibs and jackets. Be seen with Firefly Outdoor and Marine. Go to www.fireflymarine.com. Don't forget, use our discount code at checkout, DeckTalk10. Again, that's fireflymarine.com. Don't forget, use our discount code DeckTalk10. Man,
That's right.
Colin, you know what? That is right. And me and Colin has been using Firefly now for quite some time. We are very familiar with the products, and trust me, they are the most innovative products that I know me personally has ever seen and ever used. But all right, that's enough of that, guys. Let's get down to the real business here at hand. We have two guys. You can probably see them on the right hand side of your television screen now, but we're excited to have these guys back for a second time. But anyway, let's just get started with this. Let's give these guys, hopefully we're going to do them right by giving them a proper introduction. All right, guys, we have a special treat for you all tonight. We have two guests for the price of one. Legit Florida hammers joining the show tonight. When you look up pure fishing, big bass fishing talents in the dictionary, these two anglers is the first names that is going to pop up. They are the backbone behind Florida Big Bass Adventures, two of the most premier fishing guides on Headwaters Lake, along with a few other lakes in South Florida. If you happen to follow along on their social media platforms, it will just blow you away. The giant big bass they put their clients on day in and day out. That's right, guys. I am talking about the two guys that actually put Headwaters on the map, Captain Stephen Coleman and Captain Mike Ward. What is going on, my man?
What's up,
What's up,
guys?
fellas?
What's up, man?
Oh man, I am
So,
jacked. I am
oh,
jacked. You guys are great,
well,
man. So when I looked it up in the dictionary, I saw you two fellas. So I don't know. I don't know what dictionary
uh,
you're looking at.
no,
Oh, man.
you must have been looking up underneath two flunkies.
Mhm.
Well, I
So,
picked the tournament. I take either one of them. There you go.
well, we'll definitely go out with you for sure. But
You guys just
I
like
want
too.
to say,
I was gonna say you guys just like too comfortable sitting there.
yeah. Well,
Well,
it looks.
I get a little comfortable at the bait shop.
Well, I mean, I do want to say though, we have seen that room in quite a few posts. And so, where are y'all guys at with? Because last time I think y'all was over at Mike's place, wasn't you? Like in the
Yeah.
sunroom or something like that last
Yes, sir.
time. So, where are y'all at today?
Well, we're at Fellsmere Fishing Headquarters, the premier bait tackle shop here in Fellsmere for all
Hey,
your local lakes here. live. We got live bait, artificial baits, you name it. And it's the main hub here at Fellsmere. And anybody that wants to know anything about what's going on these lakes, this is where they go.
Yeah, and you guys do a live fishing report. Is it once a month from that location as well, or
Yes, sir. Yeah, we
yeah,
try to do it more than that, but
it varies. So in the off season, we'll do one every couple 3 weeks. Coming up here into the busy season, we're going to be doing a weekly fishing report. So because there's so many people coming down from up north over the wintertime, we try to stay as up to date for those individuals as
yeah,
possible.
oh yeah,
So when they come down, they have an update, an updated way of looking at things. Things do change in the wintertime down here with cold fronts, etc. Depending on water levels and so on. So it does change. So in the busy season where more people are coming, we try to do it more often.
that's awesome.
Right.
Yeah, is do you have a set time or a set when you do it, or is it just random?
Well, a lot of that depends on how busy we are and when we can get certain guides in here. So we're not stingy here. So we bring guides in here to do stuff with us and to do those videos with us that aren't even really per se part of FLP Bass Adventures. Like Captain Mike Arnoldy is on a lot with us. He is with Holland Bass Guide Service, and but he fishes some lakes that we don't fish that other people do want to fish.
Yeah,
And he's a great friend of ours, and he's a knowledgeable individual. So we're not trying to be stingy and just take everything and not offer outside of our realm of lakes that we fish. That guy has a plethora of information, and we would be cutting folks short if we didn't offer it to them.
that's a good point.
Right.
yeah.
So how far are y'all from the Fellsmere boat ramp?
About 13 minutes.
I knew that y'all were pretty close because y'all. Last time me and you talked, Stephen, we were talking about that I was going to come down and I was going to do some filming and stuff like that for y'all. And you're like, man, we could just meet there, and it's just a hop, skip, and away. And so, but yeah, I was like, man, I just wish I could be down there right now, just slaying some bass. I mean, every time I see you posted on that USA Guide page, man, I'm like, man, I wish I was down there with the brother down there just yanking some lips. but yeah. So, what lakes do y'all guide on? Because I know it's just not just Fellsmere or Headwaters or what people know.
So we do Headwaters, Stick Marsh Farm 13, Lake Garcia, Lake Kenansville, or Kenansville Lake. Blue Cypress is not a sold out lake so much for bass fishing. There's some big bass in there, but it's a tougher lake to put people on fish.
Yeah.
And it's just not a lake that people seek out when they come down here to fish.
Right.
So those are our main lakes. And again, Captain Mike Arnold, he fishes Three Forks, which is up around Palm Bay, quite a bit. He has an airboat and stuff. He can get into places where a bass boat cannot. So that's another premier lake in this area that he offers. Another reason that we bring him on the show with us.
Right. So, kind of going with like recent events that has happened down there in Florida. Everybody and pretty much in the eastern part of the United States kind of got hit and affected by it, which was the two hurricanes that came through. How did it affect y'all? And if it did, how bad did it affect?
So I'll tell you this on my side of it. I like when hurricanes come. Honestly, other than the damage that it does to people's places and stuff like that, and again, our prayers go out to all those people that are struggling right now for sure.
Yeah.
Because they have done a lot of damage and tore a lot of stuff up and have taken lives and stuff like that, and it's a horrible, horrible thing. But when it comes to the bass fishing, let me tell you something, fellas. When that joker's coming, those fish are chewing.
Yeah.
And when I say chewing, I mean chewing. I'll just give you just a little piece. We were 2 days away from the first one, 2 days, and the wind was already rolling. It was nasty, raining off and on, and so on and so forth. I had a live bait trip, and we started out with 7 dozen shiners for 2 people. And I had to call the bait shop here and get more delivered to the boat ramp in about 3 hours.
Yeah.
And we ended up using almost 10 dozen shiners on 2 fishing holes.
Yeah.
They absolutely chew when that barometric pressure changes. They chew,
Yeah.
and it's a phenomenal thing. And I know I try to plan it like I try to get everything done that I can get done around the house and so on and so forth, because I'm going to fish all the way up until I cannot fish.
Right.
And if folks want to fish, I'm going fishing. And even if they don't want to go fish, I'm still going fishing. So,
I tell
like
you
the
what,
old way.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I tell you what, before I moved out to Tennessee, of course, I spent 50 years of my life in Florida and native Floridian, and I used to call that the pre hurricane pattern. Anytime a hurricane was coming, you always
Yes.
want to get out before it got too dangerous. But that was what I used to call the pre-hurricane pattern, because you can pretty much pattern it every time you get a major storm like that. Yeah, that bite just fires up. And by the way, we actually just had a comment. One of our viewers right now is from Finland, watching. I hope I don't really mess his name up. Alpha Zero. From Finland is actually watching us right now, so that's pretty cool. We got somebody from Finland on.
Super cool.
So,
Welcome.
but so does during the hurricane, I guess I mean, it kind of plays like with us getting a big heavy thunderstorm, tornadoes, or whatever. I guess it's kind of similar to it, to where they know that it's coming, they're munching, getting ready, and then during it, it all shuts down for maybe the next day or two after it. That they're kind of slowly, kind of after it, slowly kind of getting back into a pattern, because it has them all jacked up when we have severe weather.
Yeah.
But so it kind of does that down there as well with the hurricanes, correct?
Uh, Somewhat, depending on the situation. So let me give you 2 different scenarios here. So you're fishing a lake, you're fishing grass beds, you're fishing, deep water to shallow flat transition areas where you're jacking fish prior to the hurricane getting here. Something that we have down here, though, is we have all these lakes that are connected to the St. John's waterway.
Right.
Usually, they will move water in between these lakes to either prepare and to move, or they'll move water after that has been dumped in the area. So they'll move water.
Right.
So if it's an after hurricane, now the one recently, yes, they weren't moving any water, so we were fishing just the standard lake areas and so on and so forth. The bite was a little off. They were smacking artificial baits, they were smacking shiners, and they weren't engulfing them per se. But I've also been in the same situation where I'm fishing moving water, and they're still chewing right after. So
Right.
all depends on the situation and what is going on at the time. But yes, it does affect them. Personally, in my opinion, I think that when there's high winds like that and big rollers, big white caps, on some of these shallow flats, it displaces these fish and spreads them out again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Norm, as well as I do. You get a couple bites in the area in Florida on a grass bed, you better power pole down and fish at it for a
Yeah.
while, because it's
Yeah.
probably a bunch more.
Yeah.
So,
Muddy water, I think, plays a big factor after a storm like that. And then the water table rising itself. I mean, we got 8-10 inches
Yes.
out of this last storm, and it really elevates the water in the lake, and then those fish kind of disperse based
Yeah.
on that as well.
yeah,
Right.
and Speaking a little bit more on that, not just on the bass, but on the crappie side of it. We're catching a bunch of crappie in an area, and the water level came up, and they were gone, and they scattered. So the water level absolutely plays in that. And right now, all of our lakes are way up. They're not moving any water right now in between the lakes because St. John's up north is flooded.
Got so much water.
They got so much water.
Yeah.
So we're waiting for that to clear out so we can start moving some water around here. Then it'll get really, really good. I mean, the fish is great right now, but it's going to be on fire as soon as they start moving this water around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so when they start moving, because we up here, we have moving. If the water's not moving, if they're not pulling any kind of water, I mean, you might as well just go on home because you're not really going to catch anything. It's going to be a tough day. But when they're moving water down there, do you see the fish transitioning to maybe like more to like the grassy points than, and like some little eddies and stuff like that? Do you see them transitioning to that more so?
That's a tough one to answer because when they move water here, it's in certain locations. If they're running these
Okay.
big pumps, and they're pumping literally from one lake across a berm into another one.
Yeah.
So you have those spots
Okay.
where it creates massive current, but 100, 200 yards away, you have nothing.
Yeah,
I got you.
what we
Yeah.
deal with up here, like in Tennessee, that's what separates the like for example, the Tennessee river system fishing.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you're fishing in a river system and you don't have current, might as well go back to the house because the fish get active. They chew when they got moving water because it pushes the bait. They're waiting to ambush around points, around eddies. But when you get in South Florida, to Stephen and Mike's point is it's a different perspective on moving water than what we actually have up here. Up here, you
Okay.
need moving water. In Florida, if you're fishing a canal or a creek or a river coming into a lake that has current flowing, you're always going to want to, if you're fishing around an area where that water's flowing into the lake, you're always going to want to fish it or at least put your power poles down and give it a cast or two to see what's going on. But water movement in Florida is quite a bit different than you're going to see up like when you're river fishing, like on the Tennessee River. To Stephen,
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hit it on the head right there, Norm. It's think about like a 10-foot wide gate just lifting and water starting to pour out.
Yeah.
A small canal where they lift the gate up and water pours out of it.
Yeah.
And we're fishing a lot of shell beds and stuff like that in those areas. And think about being up next to a small dam and that water pouring off there. That's the kind of current that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But
Right.
there's fish everywhere in these lakes, and even if you're not fishing moving water, you're still jacking fish.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's good fish, and there's tons of them everywhere. So
Yeah. Because I
moving
was
water.
thinking, like, because I know, right there by Fellsmere Boat Ramp, there's that little dam type deal. As soon as you come out of it, it's to the right. I was thinking that maybe they opened it and the water just came out. So I was thinking more or less as a almost like a river system, kind of where they were flowing water that way, not to where it was actually pumping. Because one of the lakes that we fish here, we call it Lake X, and they do kind of similar to what y'all are explaining, to where they have the pump that they've got like a man-made dam, but then they've got a pump that goes through the dam down into like a creek or whatever to where it runs it off to wherever it goes.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. There's a couple of spillways, which you call a little dam, and then there's areas where they're utilizing big pumps.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, they're running these pumps on generators and pumping water through these locks, these small locks, which creates that river type of current. And those fish after a short time of that pump running, they gravitate to it. And like from Lake Garcia Canal runs to Stick Marsh Farm 13. There's a canal or a small basin that runs up to the lock in between Garcia Canal and the lake. Well, there's a lock there, so they'll lift the door, and that water will start pouring under it. But they also have pipes off to the side that they can pump water out of.
Right.
So when this
Gotcha.
current comes into this basin, these fish position in different places in this current, and you can pick them off just like you were smallmouth fishing next to a dam or something to that effect. So that's kind of what we're talking about on that. But even then, when they're still pumping water, there's still those fish that are in the lake that don't gravitate to that. You know what I mean? So it's not like a river system where the whole river is moving down, right?
Right.
It's just an area. It's an isolated area where that
I got
is
you.
pulling through. It pulls that bait in, those bass follow.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause we got Patrick Grace says Captain Stephen Coleman is the man. So
No,
so
Patrick Gray is the man. He is the bait maker. Let me tell you, he is the bait maker.
I've seen some of the baits that he makes. They look pretty killer. So
They are fantastic. They are fantastic for sure.
so so how much have the lakes that y'all fish regular um, with the grass and all that? How much have they changed over the last couple of weeks with all the storms and stuff? I mean, because I know, but the last time we had y'all on, y'all said that. I mean, it constantly changes the whole thing. Period. But
Right.
was there a big difference in how it changed from here the past couple of weeks?
So, from my perspective, what I've seen is, the floating mats that we've talked about before, Colin.
Yep.
The floating islands that float around like headwaters and stuff, depending on which way the wind blows.
Right.
Those, yes, those have moved and presented actually some new fishing areas because I like flipping big mats with big heavy weights and jacking big ones out of big heavy mats where you have to fight them out of it.
I
So
knew I
that
liked you for
presents.
some reason.
Oh man, I'm telling you, man, that's the news for me. That's like I wake up in the middle of the night. Big one, like I dream about it, and
Yeah.
but what I've seen more of from the past two hurricanes, this time, what I've seen is more of the hydrilla has been like thrown on top of each other, and it's kind of rolled up in places and stuff like that. But the navigation and everything is fine. There's not anything that's blown into the way of good navigation. You can still be safe, no issues with that. But it's actually some of the mats that I was fishing in the south part of Headwaters, Mike. Some of those big heavy mats were displaced and moved, and they moved them to a different part of the south part of the lake. And I'm so excited because I know there's big fish over there, but with the south part of the lake, Egan Lake, is what I'm talking about. The south part of Headwaters we call Egan. There's no grass down there anymore. They sprayed it; it's dead. So these fish are getting on different stuff, and they're getting in these mats. Well, the mats where I was catching a lot of big fish out of, some of them have been displaced and moved around in the south part of the lake. It's presenting more habitat for these fish, and it's going to spread them out just a little bit more, and more isolated mats, because that's what I target when I'm flipping mats. I don't flip just a monster mat. If I can find a monster mat and one little 4x4 piece of isolated mat, I'm going to that 4x4 piece of mat.
Oh yeah.
And there's a ton of them out there right now. And I've had trips I've not been able to get out and do my flipping like I like to do, but it's getting ready to happen here in the next 2 or 3 days, and I'm super jacked about it because I know it's going to happen, and these fish are going to be on. But
to me, the best sound in fishing is 65-pound braid coming through that when you hook set that.
My man. Now, don't be like my buddies, like Mike and Pat and everybody, give me a hard time because I hit you with a fish or something, But
hey, I thoroughly believe in the hook set / boat flip in the same process. I mean, I
Ah, my
believe.
man, yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about.
We
Yeah.
watch for
So
flying bass when we're fishing
yeah,
with it.
that's we actually Norman and I've actually been filming and we've had it caught on camera a couple times where we've had some flying fish coming over the gunnel.
Norm, you been hitting the gym, big dog, or what?
Tell you,
Nah, he's the one dodging.
no, I, I tell you what, though, Stephen, you made a point there about dreaming about that sound, dreaming about Jack and Biggins. Man, I remember when I used to be full time in Florida, I used to have them dreams. And every time you post your pictures there on your social media platforms, I'll go to bed that night and dream about it again. But yeah, there's something to be said about fishing in Florida and just being able to. I mean, the thing about and you guys know as well as I do, the thing about fishing Florida lakes is any flip, any pitch, any
Yeah.
cast you make in Florida, that
Mhm.
cast always has that potential to have a 10-pounder waiting on it on the other side of it. And to Steven's point, yeah, when you catch your first fish punching a mat with a 2 ounce weight and just feeling that pressure. And here's the thing with flipping, and I tell people all the time, 95% of my bites when I'm flipping, I never feel the fish. You just feel that pressure. It's not like a small fish that hits it like a cat shot in the butt at 100 miles an hour. I mean, the fish just suck it in on the way down, and all you do, you lift up and you just feel that pressure, and your adrenaline starts pumping before you jar back onto her. And yeah, the dream is real, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell all the folks that fish with me that have never flipped before, and I get several that have never flipped before, but I talk a lot about flipping. So a lot of folks want to come out, they want to try it, they want to learn it because it's a big summertime thing too. When people struggle in the summertime, or cold fronts, they struggle catching fish and moving baits and stuff like that, which are easier to fish. So they want to come out, they want to flip, they want to learn that because you can jack some big fish on bad days, flip it. And, I'm like, those fish, they're going to eat it normally as soon as it goes through the mat, just like you're describing. And I said, if that bait goes to the bottom and you lift and it feels like it's stuck to the bottom, just as you're talking about, you jack them.
Yeah.
Hook sets are free. Just lay into it because if you're stuck to the bottom anywhere we're fishing, it's a big. So let it
It's a
rip.
big one.
And
Yeah.
you and usually that hang up feel is going to give you a different type of sensation. It's more of a spongy type of a hang up. Where if you're hooked on something like the mat or something on the bottom, it's just going to be a jar where you're hung on something. But that bite, that 10-pounder, when she sucks that bait in, it's going to be a spongy type of a hang up. If you feel that, don't wait for that. You never want to wait for you to make sure
The
that it's a
tail
fish.
catching it. Yeah.
If that fish feels you before you jack her, you're done. It's too
Ah.
late. You always want to
Yeah.
be the first jack on her before she feels you, or you're done with it. But yeah, like Steven says, hook sets are free. If you have any inkling that something's different, you want to be pulling back on them.
And another little gift I'll give you is, or for anybody that's watching or listening, if you have three people in the boat, three or more, don't flip.
Yeah. Very dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
And keep your head on a swivel if you're flipping
Oh
two people in
boy.
the boat. Make sure you keep your head on a swivel. And we had a conversation with uh, Bobby Lane. We had Bobby on. Uh, what was it, Colin? About a month
Month ago.
ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're talking about something that he actually impaled one of his cameramen one time when on the Elite
Yeah.
Series.
Uh,
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
shoot. What? Uh, I'll think of the guy's name. But it's the camera guy for the elites that is his mom is Japanese, and so Jay Latundra
yeah. Jelly
is his
Tundra.
name.
Yeah.
And so Jay's getting that shot, and I heard the story from Jay at first, and he said they were down in I think they were in Okeechobee the first time it happened to him, and they Bobby was flipping the grass, and he had one, and that's the bad thing, like what you were saying, uh, Steve and Mike. That I mean, if you have a lot of people on, if you swing and it's you miss it, I mean,
You
it's a
swing and
bullet
miss.
coming at you,
Yeah.
and which everybody knows that the Lane brothers have probably the hardest hook sets in professional fishing. And he hook set on one and missed it, and it came back. And Jay was right there at the mat because he told him, he says, I'm about to get one right here. And he flipped and he missed it. And that came, he's looking through the camera and it comes up underneath and hits him right in the ribs. And it actually impaled, I mean, went in him. He said, I had to pull it out. He said it looked like it was a bullet. He had been shot,
Oh,
and he was bleeding and all that. And I was like, and so
now,
when I seen Jay at the classic, I said something to him about it. And I told him that we was going to have Bobby on. He says, ask Bobby about that. And Bobby, as soon as I said it, you could see it in his face. Like, he's like, do I really want to talk? He felt really bad about it. But the thing about it is Bobby just didn't do it once. He's done it twice to him.
you know, I'm glad you bring this up because I've been talking to Bobby, and Bobby comes in here. We talk about flipping and stuff, and I'm glad you brought that up because we're supposed to get together here for too long and do some flipping, and
Yeah.
I'm glad you told me that because he's left that out of all of our conversations.
Grab one of the bulletproof vests.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab some Kevlar. It sounds like.
Hey,
That'll be classic.
The guy's an animal. He's an animal, and yes, his hook sets are vicious, and he's a beast. But
yeah.
that's why you carry a name like Big Fish Bobby Lane too.
Yeah.
We love Bobby.
If you show up when you guys are about to hit the lake, and just as a joke, show up with a bulletproof vest on, that'd be classic. that would be classic.
Sir. Yes, sir. You got it.
Yeah, you show up with a bulletproof vest, and he's gonna be like, "What's up with that, brother?"
And a football helmet.
Yeah, and a cup.
Oh my goodness, you guys are too much.
So sorry, I got people are talking on my phone, and so I'm trying to keep conversation, and so Patrick, Patrick Gray and myself were over here chit chatting about. I didn't know that he was as close as what he is. I thought he was closer down towards where y'all were at. He's not too far
he's up
from
by
us.
you.
Yeah, and he says he doesn't have grass where he's from, or that much grass, so he goes to Chick or the Big G, which if you don't know what the Big G is, Gunnersville,
Oh,
guys. But so, and I was like, I asked him, I told him that we fish Chick all the time, and so, but then we also got Michael Lindell's in it, brother. Man, I seen you come in here, and he said, "Hey," so Michael, what's up, brother? And he says, shout out from the big, nasty South Florida swamp. And he said, the flipping bite is strong at Garcia.
Yes, sir. He is correct.
And he says, what's your go-to flipping baits for mats?
That's a good question. I get that quite a bit. Right now, I'm very partial to this, and I've not been throwing it around a lot. But since you're asking on this, and I love y'all to pieces, I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
It's the punch bug, Strike King.
Yeah.
The
See,
punch bug.
I'll throw that punch bug, but yeah, Brandon said the bruiser bait, crazy crawl. That's another bait that I will throw.
Nice.
But the thing about it is I will get Steve Dial from Bruiser to do that crazy crawl in a smoke purple, and that is some money right there.
Yeah.
Hey, send me a picture of that. I want to see that smoke purple you're talking about. Send me a picture of that. I want to see that for sure.
We might.
Yeah, I'll have to text you that one.
So I'm a big purple and black guy down here. Purple and black. A lot of like, maybe it's just something mentally for me, but I love purple and black. I've caught a lot of big fish on purple and black. I've caught some good fish on black and blue, but that purple and black,
I tell you,
I think
hey,
it's something to it. Yeah.
I'll give you some a tip with that smoked purple that I guarantee you. Like I tried. Strike King came out with the smoked purple Rage Crawl, and a good buddy of mine, Alex Rudd, that has the Alex Rudd Fishing on YouTube, and he has a podcast as well. But he's the one that told me about it, and he's like, "You need to try out this smoked purple." And so I got it, and what I do is I take like JJ Magic, the chartreuse, and every time you open it up, it makes you want to have some kind of Italian, just because of all the
Yes,
garlic.
sir.
But you also do not want to spill that on your carpet because it is not coming off. But that JJ Magic is probably the best dye that I have ever seen. I've tried it out to where I dipped it in like an old plastic. I dipped it in and I just left it on the deck of my boat for 3 months. The whole summer I left it on my boat and that dye never faded.
And I'll tell you,
but you take that smoked purple and dip the claws down into that smoked purple or into that chartreuse, and you just better hold on because I guarantee you come up here and I'm using that smoked purple with that chartreuse on it, I'm going to outfish you 4 or 5 to 1.
yeah. And I'll tell you something about that.
I'm going to come up here and just let you do that, big dog. Because, man, I want to fish with you. I tell you.
I'll tell you something too about when
we need to set stuff up to where because y'all can. I've got room. Y'all can come up and just stay up here with us. Norman's got room. Y'all just come on.
Yeah, and one more thing about that JJ Magic is when Colin actually showed that to me, and I've used dyes in the past to dip tails, chartreuse tips on my Senko style baits and stuff like that. That JJ Magic is the first dip I have ever seen, and Colin kind of turned me on to that point. That when you dip it in the chartreuse, it is a true chartreuse tip, just like if it was molded that way with a chartreuse tip. Now, I've used many dyes before, and when you dip it into chartreuse, it does not give you a true deep chartreuse. That JJ Magic looks like it was just molded into the mold when the bait was built with a chartreuse tip. So one more thing I'll throw out there with that. But to Colin's point, and one thing with the chartreuse that I always love doing too, this time of the year, getting into the wintertime, fall time, is when a lot of times with the cold fronts we deal with in Florida, where it actually affects the bite once the cold front hits on top of us. And I will actually flip with a chartreuse tip, and this is my perspective on it. What I find is when you flip like a 5-inch big stick or whatever you're flipping with that chartreuse tip, and that chartreuse drops in front of that fish that doesn't necessarily want to react to it, it creates a little bit better reaction, and they react to that chartreuse as it's dropping in front of them versus just drop that bait in there when that bite is lethargic. So I feel that chartreuse actually enhances a reaction bite too when you drop it in front of that fish that might not want it necessarily.
Now, and I will say this because we are not sponsored, and JJ Magic, if you want to sponsor us, we will keep on blowing you up. But I will say this, that JJ Magic, the chartreuse, or they even got like a purple, a red. They got a bunch of different colors, but the chartreuse has been the best color for me. But is the only color that I have been able to take like a black Senko with blue flakes, dip the tail in it, and it changes a black
Are you
Senko.
kidding me? Really? That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's
so.
wow.
What we'll do? Because because I don't know if y'all have it down there or not. The guy, I mean, he's actually the guy that made it or makes it is actually from close to where Patrick is from. But we have it up here like crazy. But and people, I mean, I really, when I talk to people about it, because we're all the time like y'all are talking about fishing. If anybody wants to chit chat and if they say anything about a fish, we're in. I mean, they've got us hook, line, and sinker. But when I bring up that they'll talk about like dyes and stuff, and I'll say something about JJ Magic, it's they've been around, but not a lot of people because all they see is like these like Scott Martin or Jacob Wheeler or whoever talking about Spike It,
Right.
and JJ outperforms it. It literally is. And y'all send me your address, and I'll send y'all a bottle of it down there to where y'all can try it out. I mean, because it literally is. It's legit. I mean, and then I may send you some of those smoke purples your way too.
Yeah, baby, that's what I'm talking about.
So, but I'm right there where you're at, Stephen. When you said you believe in purple, my grandfather, back when Sam Rayburn first like opened up for fishing and stuff, and I think it was the late '60s, early '70s when Sam Rayburn opened. He used to work for Genesco Shoe Company. He was the senior VP for Genesco. And so they took a trip out there and he got to fishing, and that's where he learned how to use a Texas rig. And ever since then, he was like, I don't care what bait it has, but as long as it has purple in it, I'm throwing it.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into purple. So, so
Now,
but
I will say the purple and black burner crawl from Gambler.
yeah,
If I'm fishing cooler water where I want a smaller profile, I will pitch a Gambler burner crawl. Uh, but in the summertime, I have caught so many big fish with that punch bug. I mean, both flipping eights and nines, tens. It's crazy.
The big worms too.
Yeah,
the gambler and
the bass assassin.
assassin worms.
Yeah.
In the purple.
Yeah, yeah. The purple and the red plum worms in the summertime have been really good for us too.
Yeah.
Been throwing like an 11-inch. It's a ribbon tail worm from Bass Assassin, and it's been fantastic. Going on a 1/16 to 3/16 ounce weight on fluorocarbon up on hyacinth mats. Going on top of mat and just shaking it off. I've been on this pattern now for about almost 3 years now. I've been on this pattern, and in the same area of the lake, and it's right after the spawn. And once those big fish get off the bed, they're up there eating bluegill, and they're eating big, giant 11-inch worms.
Yeah.
So,
well, you have you ever tried the Big Nasty? On the Big Nasty up there?
no, I have not thrown that here.
Ah, Norman, when we come down.
I
But also,
I was gonna say, go real quick. Before you send Steven and Mike that JJ Magic and the purple that you're gonna send, get with me first. I mean, I have a unlimited supply of the big nasties here in my shop, so
it's like
we'll
a
throw
never
it.
ending.
Yeah, that big nasty is, of course, Steve and Bruiser's been one of our sponsors since the podcast in its inception, and I've been with them for a long time. But that 14.25 big nasty is just insane for the big fish. So we'll put some of those in with that package that's called is going to send down to you guys to try.
Man, you guys are
Yeah.
awesome. You guys are
I,
awesome.
well,
So,
and the thing
Yeah.
about it is, as I say that, Michael Lindell said, Norman, you never sent me any JJ Magic. So, and he says, I'll send you my address. And then he says,
I love it.
he said the Big Nasty V1 14.25 worm is money.
Well,
And so,
I tell you
but
what, I
you
tell you
take,
what, I tell you what, Michael, send me your address. I'll make sure to send you a bottle of that JJ Magic. But when me and Colin get
we got
down
to do
there,
some pacu
when
fishing.
me and Colin get down there in July on our schedule, once we get down to Lake Placid, you are going to put us on a big Paco in your backyard.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'll fish that big nasty. Just throw it weightless and just bring it like it's just a snake just on top of it, and it
They
is
do it.
it is great.
Yeah.
So, but I do want to say something. I just remembered, Steven, you just got your boat like wrapped. That sucker is looking sharp, and
Oh man, yeah.
man, I seen that and I was like, man, he's moving on up now. Look at that. And so,
To the
but
east side.
Good.
yeah. So I just want to say, man, that is a great looking wrap that you have on there, man.
Well, I appreciate that very much. It means a lot for you to say that. Mike and I have been business partners now for a while, and each year we try to improve on the business and how we can make things better and how we can promote the business in a good, positive way, and how to get the business name out. And so I had done some graphics on my truck, and I said, heck with it, let's just do a boat, And so I did my boat. And I've got two sponsors right now that are fantastic, and I've been working with one of them now for quite some time, and that's my man Greg from Vicious Fishing. Vicious Fishing. Um, I'm going to tell you about Vicious Fishing just a little bit. I'm not going to beat it to death, but I've used a lot of braided line, and his no fade braid is absolutely phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. And, flipping, I use a 65-pound no fade braid, and it's fantastic. A lot of problems that I would have after a hard hook set, you hard hook set a fish, you reel it in, and then you go to either flip or cast back out. And what's it do? It grabs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's slick. It's slick. Very seldom does that happen. It has to be an 8+ pound fish for something like that to happen. But I know
Right.
that, so I'll strip the line out. But I don't have that issue. And the no fade braid, it stays green.
By the way, guys, don't ask him to send you his full because I'm still waiting for mine.
Hey, I got something coming for Mike now. He's
well,
calmed down a little bit.
well, Mike, he said he's waiting on your address.
But he knows it. Trust me.
Well, what he don't know is I got it in my garage. He just don't know I had it yet. But no, Greg has been great to me. Greg and his son came and fished with me out on Headwaters. We had a great time. Very personal individual. His son, very, very, very well behaved young man, and just very respectful young man. And I can't say, I mean, just great things about Greg. And I partnered with him. I had opportunities in the past to do this, and I just don't want to get so drawn down to where I'm doing social media stuff to where I spend 10, 15 minutes on just trying to get stuff out for sponsors and stuff like that. And, I look for certain individuals. I don't just jump on it. And Greg was the type of individual that I meshed with. You guys know what I'm talking about. And, we have a good relationship. And Greg has been good to me. His product is phenomenal. I think he's got Fletcher on his pro staff right now. Try. So, and some other professionals. I'm not even
He's
like
all
those guys.
right.
Yeah, he's all right,
He's all
but
right.
no,
Not too
Fletcher's a
bad
stick.
for an Ohio kid.
Yeah, Fletcher's a stick, boy. Come on now.
Yeah.
But
Fletcher,
Well, the thing is,
Fletcher actually
Fletcher,
lives right down the road from me right now.
yeah,
yeah,
Fletcher and Hunter both live right down the road from us. So
right.
we've been able to talk to both of them, and we've talked to Fletcher because he just had back surgery not too long ago.
Yeah.
And which if you don't know, I don't know if you knew that he used to like professionally race motocross, like motorcycles and stuff.
Both
Yeah.
Hunter and Fletcher.
And
Yeah.
and we asked him if he
Yeah.
if his back injury came from motorcycles, and he says no. He said my back injury came from going 80 mile an hour down these waters and pow pow pow. So yeah, we like old Fletcher and Hunter. We like giving them a hard time, and so every time we get a chance, we will definitely give them a hard time. But they
Absolutely.
are some hammers though. So,
But the
but
but the
go ahead.
the uh, the second person that kind of threw in on the rap with us was right here next door to the shop. Right here is GCR Tires. If you're ever down here in Fellsmere area, and you're fishing these lakes, you get a nail in the tire. You get a tire. You need a new tire. If you're a fisherman, and you show up at this gentleman's shop, right next door to the shop here, GCR Tires, he will put you in front and get you out the door. Yep. He loves fishermen
Nice.
and he takes care of.
Good old Smoky.
Yeah, Smoky.
Heck
And
yeah.
if you're having tire issues, come to the shop. We'll point you in the right direction, or just look up GCR. Google GCR Tires in Fellsmere, Florida. It's right here. It's close, and we'll get you taken care of for sure. And that individual, I mean, he's been good to us.
Yeah.
He's been really good
Yeah.
to us.
It's very convenient for a fisherman.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I seen that rap and I was like, man, that is a sharp looking rap. And a lot of these guys, especially like you see in the opens and stuff, their raps are like super busy. Like it's hard unless you're like focusing in on it, that it's hard to really tell like, all right, this is whatever sponsors, because it's got so much going on. And yours, it looked like, I mean, that it was just nice and simple to where it's just wham, you see everything perfectly clear. And I thought it was pretty sharp. So
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. And the guys down at JH Design in Port St. Lucie did a fantastic job on it. Mike did a lot of the work on it on his own computer. He put the picture of my boat up on his computer and did a lot of the work to it. And it really made their work at JH Design a lot easier. Yes. Yeah. And it kind of streamlined it. It was this quick, Colin. No, Norm, it was this quick. He said, drop it off Monday evening. You'll have it back by Wednesday.
Wow.
Boom, it was done.
Really?
Perfect.
Yes. I will tell you this about JH Design. This is no doubt. I took it out for the first time after I got it. I had a problem area on the back. I took a picture of it. I sent it to him. And he was willing to come in on Saturday or Sunday and personally take care of it himself.
Yeah.
So I brought it in on a
you don't
Sunday.
see that, yeah.
On a Sunday, and the man came on a Sunday and took care of it.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's customer service.
Yeah.
You don't find a lot of that.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
So I'd also want to talk a little bit. Oh, that's that smoke purple.
Ooh.
I actually had it behind my.
You got one in your pocket with you all the time, don't lie.
I do.
Pull that out of your wallet.
But I want to talk a little bit. I mean, if you catch as many fish as I've caught on that thing, you'd sleep with it too, Norman. But I want to talk about this this new deal that y'all are doing and getting set up and stuff. The 365. I want to talk about it a little bit because it is very. It gives a lot of information out to people that may be wanting to come down and fish with y'all or fish in Florida and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, I'll just hit on that real quick, guys. Yeah, we come up with the 365 boys here, and what we're trying to do is just get the message out that, hey, if you're coming down here to South Florida or particularly to these areas of lakes and you're looking for a guide, realize that we're here year round. We don't leave. We live here. We fish here. So we're 365. We have the bait shop here with my great dear friend and partner, Pat Kelly. and we're we're not coming down just for the winter. And telling you that, hey, we're a guide here. We're living this
Yeah.
thing, man, 365 days a year, good or bad. Um,
Right.
and it just makes a difference. And it's something that we just want to get out there and
Yeah.
let make sure people are aware of it. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we see that probably not as much as what y'all do, especially during the wintertime. I know y'all see it tremendously during the wintertime, but we'll see it during the summertime, especially on chick and because anybody that has a guide license or something like that, or even just say that they're a guide, they might not even be U.S. Coast Guard certified, but they're going down. They're wanting to go and fish chick, but they're also wanting to be able to make a little money with it. And they'll come down and fish chick for a couple of days, and then they're posting on the Facebook chick. A lot of the Chickamauga pages saying, "Hey, I got a couple days open," and I mean, and you'll see them out on the at the boat ramps, and they're from Ohio, Michigan, or something like that. And I'm like, man, that's I mean, you got all these bass guides and stuff, and they're over here trying to come, and which there's nothing. I mean, nothing wrong with them. I mean, let them
We have
do
some
their own
great friends
thing.
too.
But
Right.
yeah, but to y'all's point, to me, I would want to know, all right, is the guy that I'm going to pay my money to, is he really going to be able to put me on fish? Because
Right.
you know that as well as we do, if you go out bass fishing, it's not guaranteed. Yeah, you're going to catch fish, but it's not guaranteed that you're going to catch a big fish. But if if I know that if I'm taking either Steven or Mike out, or they're taking me out, then I know, all right, they're from that area. They fish this every day. And the likelihood of them being able to keep me on some bigger quality fish than somebody that's from Georgia or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's north of y'all. So,
Yeah.
He may have just gotten
um,
here a week ago.
Yeah,
yeah,
and
You,
one of the
you have
things,
no idea.
yeah, one of the
yeah,
things too about that is what people got to realize too is you guys put the time in. You guys are full time professional guides in Florida. You guys put the time in, and you're on the lake literally. I mean, and I say that literally 365 days a year, and people don't realize this
This
too
guy,
about.
he's an animal. He does.
And people don't
mhm,
realize this about guides also is when you're a guide, if you happen to have a day where you don't have a booking or don't have a trip, you are still hitting the lake to keep yourself tuned in for the next
yeah,
day
you got
when
to.
you have to. You don't have a day off when you're a guide. Well, you do, you take your time off, you have to take time off, but when you are a guide, you actually put your time in. When you don't have a trip, you're back on the water working. So you guys put the time in. So I mean, you guys are on, and you can just look at your social media pages for that. You know, you guys are jacking big ones almost on a daily basis. You are on a daily basis, and that's because you put the time in. Even when you don't happen to not have a booking, you're on the water trying to figure out and follow them fish around for your next trip. So it's literally legitimately 365 days a year that you guys are working down there on the lakes. So it just makes sense, book somebody that actually is on top of things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and something else that I would like to hit on is these lakes here. They're landlocked, so you don't have to have a United States Coast Guard license to guide out here.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I went through it, and another captain that we had that works with us has went through it, and it's just something that I think that you put that time into that. It's not easy. It's not for everybody because it's not easy, and I just think that it's just a more professional type of. It's a good resume builder. First of all, second,
yeah,
well, first of all, to me, it teaches you safety, boating safety.
Yeah.
yeah,
And how to operate a vessel when vessels are coming at you or you're trying to pass vessels and so on and so forth. But there's arguments all the time of, well, you don't have to have that. I don't need that, which is fine. That's your prerogative. You don't. But we're trying to be as professional as we can. Our insurance, we're highly insured. We have business insurance, commercial
fishing
insurance.
guiding insurance.
Yes, outdoor insurance.
Mhm.
And all of our guides, and I'd like to hit on that a little bit too, because we're super excited about this year. But anybody that does anything, Norm, you come and do something with us for us. You're representing FL Big Bass Adventures. You're on our insurance. You know what I mean? We make a phone call. Yes, we need to add this boat and this person, and that's how we operate. We're trying to be as professional as possible, and I mean, I hate to be honest, and I'm probably going to start a little bit of something new by saying this, Mike, but there's a lot of people out here that should not be out guiding with the way that they drive and the way that they just do things. It amazes me.
Accidents happen.
Accidents happen, but I'm just like Colin. If I'm going out or I'm sending myself and my family out on a boat with somebody, I want to know who I'm with.
Yeah.
So I encourage everyone to do your background checking on people.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great guys. It's not just us. There's a lot of great guys down here. I mean, great guys. They know it. They can fish. They can put you on fish. So we're not saying that. We're just saying that there's other individuals, just like any other line of work. It only takes a handful to ruin it for everybody.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm getting at. But and I'm really not trying to start anything, but I'm just trying to be honest.
Coming down here too, a little bit, I want to make sure my guide's fully insured.
Yeah, fully insured. Like, you fall, you
Yeah.
hurt yourself, worst case scenario, something very bad happens. You need to know that your family member is going to be taken care of, at least financially.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So,
and but another thing, and I can kind of speak on with that about the U.S. Coast Guard license because I'm actually going through the course right now um, to get my guide license, and the stuff that you have to memorize and the details of stuff of how they do things, which up here with being part of a navigable
you have to
waterway,
have,
we have to have it.
Yeah.
yes,
And but to like what y'all were saying is y'all's is not navigable waterways to where y'all can actually guide and it's okay, and so y'all probably even get more so than what we do because you can just have Joe Schmo come from wherever and
That's right.
come down here
Yeah.
and and think that I can go to Florida. Florida's easy to go catch fish.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this: I fished Florida. I haven't fished it like a ton, but I fished Florida enough to know that Florida is probably one of the hardest places that I've ever fished. Just because everything that I look at, I'm like, there should be a fish there. There should be a fish there, and you have to do like what y'all do, be out there all the time just to stay on top of it because everything down there does look so good that you're like, I just, to me, I mean, I give y'all all the credit because y'all are ripping some big uns. I see that where y'all are getting people's PBs and, but to be able to keep people on that quality type of fish, it's something else. But
Yeah.
well, and I'll say this too, just real quick. It's not a competition for us. We don't compete with other guide services in regards to the biggest fish all the time. We are selling from the time you talk to us on the phone or the time you visit the website to the time that your trip is over or you've made it home and you text us to let us know that you made it home safely. Your
yeah,
experience is 100% professional, fun, and family oriented.
Yeah.
yeah,
We try and build relationships.
We try to
yeah,
make friends. We're not trying to make a bunch of money. We're trying to make friends and enjoy what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do, and it shows. And
So,
we take a lot of pride in that.
so Branton was wanting to know what part of Florida and how far away are you from Fort Lauderdale? And which
Yep.
Brenton is from. He's from Minnesota, so here before too long he's gonna have a
About
frozen pond.
an hour and 45 minutes north of Fort Lauderdale. We are.
Yeah,
And we're right off of I-95.
yeah, and which I know that uh, he's on here almost every podcast is that he's on here, and uh, and he comes down to Florida, and I know one that he was talking about going fishing. So Brenton, if you need to contact these guys if you're wanting to go down there and have a good time, catch some nice big old green fish, or even if you want to just do some crappie or speck fishing or whatever. These guys can put you on it, but and make sure you do tell them that you that you've seen them on our podcast, so they know that they'll remember uh, that you came from us. So, but man, we've already been on here an hour and 5 minutes, guys, and it's hard to believe, but I told you we kind of go down some rabbit holes. Norman's got a dog that just had puppies, and that's what you're hearing is so.
Hey,
But
hey, if you guys don't mind for like 1 minute, I got 1 minute. If you can give me 1 minute, that'd be fantastic.
hey,
Oh yeah,
hey,
go
we
right.
don't have to get we don't as long as y'all are good, we can stay on
Oh, I mean, we're good. We're good. Are you good? I'm good. Shit.
uh,
I was just wanted to kind of let everybody know, kind of like, kind of what we're doing this year and stuff like that. You know, our team, because it's not. Mike and I are the business owners and stuff. We guide in the business as well, but in the busy season, we bring on people to help us out, and we've got a team. I'm telling you, a team that is, I mean, an all-star team.
yeah,
We got some folks that know fishing. Uh, they know the lakes, and they are great people. It's people you would want to send your family out with.
Exactly.
And I would just like to talk about that for a second. And but first, I want to talk about Captain Dan Lally. Okay, Captain Dan Lally, he's a local guy. Uh, Captain Dan has been working with another service for a while, but some stuff has came up in life and so on, and things changed, and he's come over to us, and we're thankful for that. Dan is a very knowledgeable individual, a very upbeat individual. I would send my family out with Dan, but Dan is a absolute hammer fisherman, and I'm talking speck and bass.
yeah,
But he also offers, if you get gator tags down here in this area, he's a guide for that. He can take you out and get your gator tags filled. If you like duck hunting, he's a duck hunting guide in this area. He's a
man,
master caller, a master duck hunter, and he knows these lakes down here for that. Which
heck
I
yeah,
mean, that right there is a grand slam for the team.
oh yeah,
We got Captain Kevin Wolfram that just passed his United States Coast Guard test. Congratulations, Kevin. We're very proud of you.
congrats, man,
Um, and we got Kevin Wolfram. He's very knowledgeable of the lakes. He's been with us ever since Kevin started coming down here fishing. He's been in this shop around this group of people. We've known Kevin now for years. We trust Kevin. Kevin is another individual that I would send my family out with. We got Captain Cecil. Cecil is another individual. He's a very personable person. He's a freaking hammer, and he can put you on fish,
Yep.
and you'll have a great time doing it. And needless to say, all these individuals have top of the line boats and top of the line gear from Camus to Ranger to Vexus. So they have top of the line stuff, top of the line gear, top of the line fishermen, top of the line personalities. You're going to love it. I'm telling you, we have built this team for this purpose, for this busy season, because we're going to make a dent here this year.
Absolutely. And the last thing I'd like to add, guys, and then I'm pretty much done, I guess, is that just to know that our relationship with Fellsmere Fishing Headquarters here is invaluable. I mean, we're open 365 days a year, pretty much.
Yeah.
And the guys that come through here, the knowledge and the information is absolutely limitless. And this is our home, and it's our base, and it's part of really what helps us do what we do.
Yes.
It's just
Right.
a wealth of knowledge, and we share it all amongst our captains. We
Yeah.
don't keep secrets amongst each other. So, hey, man, if you're coming down, take advantage of the knowledge that's down here,
Yeah.
and come check us out. That's all.
Yeah. And if
Yeah.
you're coming down to fish and you don't want a guide, that's fine. Stop in the shop.
Yeah.
You want to know what's going on at the lake? I'm here. He's here. Another guide's here. Guess what? We're going to take you over to the maps, and we're going to show you on the maps where you need to be, what you need to be throwing, and stuff like that. Because you know what? There are no secret holes on these lakes. It's just
There's no secret holes anywhere.
there's no secret
There's no
holes.
secret hole.
So the thing about it is we like to hear people come back and say thank you. We jacked them today. That's
Yeah.
what it's all about for us.
Yeah. So, but Brenton said that, let's see, he said less than 2 hours is nothing. I'll be glad to book a trip. He said he'll be down this February. So what I'll do is I will message him and I will give him y'all's information to be able to, or he can contact y'all for this February.
Oh,
That's
But
awesome. I'm super excited.
yep. So, but and I want to apologize. I had just we were supposed to do this back in July at ICAST, and which I had my mother. Well, it's kind of crazy. I had planned a trip to come down that my dad, my oldest brother, and myself were going to come down and was going to go out on the water with them and go do some fishing and do some filming uh, for both Stephen and Mike. And so, but the time that I had scheduled right before my mom had a stroke, and so we had to
yeah.
reschedule, and so and then I took a week off from work, and then I wasn't thinking, but it was. I mean, when your mom's in the hospital, you just got to do what you got to do,
Absolutely.
and so, uh, but guys, I couldn't go to ICAST this year because I didn't have the time off, and I wasn't allowed to be able to take off and go. So this is actually a reschedule from a reschedule to have y'all on here. But I want to say thank you again, man. It is always a pleasure to talk to y'all, and just the knowledge and stuff that y'all have. I mean, down there is just phenomenal, and just to be able to, and how y'all can translate fishing down there to even make it to where people that's anywhere else in the country can take bits and pieces of what y'all said and be able to use what y'all said anywhere in the country. And but it's just been, I mean, we've known each other, Stephen, for 2.5, 3 years,
Yeah.
and it's just been great for us just to be able to communicate back and forth. And but one of these days we're going to get in a boat together, though, brother. If
Buddy,
it's going to
I
be
am ready.
down there or up here. I mean, y'all always, again, y'all got
always welcome up here.
Yeah.
So we'll if y'all up here a couple days, we'll hit one day on Chick, and then we'll go to Nickajack if y'all want to go catch some good smallmouth. So we'll
Buddy, I'm all about some smallies, buddy, and I don't want to have to go all the way up the St. Lawrence River to do it. You know what I mean?
no,
I mean, so
you don't.
so I used to fish the Ohio River all the time back in the day. I used to fish the Ohio River back in the day all the time in the wintertime. And we would have 18 to 24 pound big 5 sack, in the
Yeah.
Ohio River, but
Yeah.
only in the wintertime. And so I will say that's one thing that I miss is I miss Jack and Big Small.
Yeah.
I miss Jack
And,
and Big
and
Small.
there bass wise, there's no better fight than a
Right.
smallmouth.
No,
If you get one that's 4 or 5 pounds, it's going to fight better. In my opinion, it fights better than a
Nasty
9-10 pound
sometimes.
largemouth.
Pound
So
for pound, there's no harder fighting fish than a smallmouth. That'll
hey,
also give you
yeah,
the aerial acrobatics that comes
yeah,
along with it.
yeah. Hey, boys, I'll tell you this. I'll tell it to you like this. It's the most fun you can have with your pants on.
Yeah.
so yeah, yeah. But oh man. So let's see. Brenton says, "Come on up to Minnesota and we'll get you on some."
I've actually been to Minnesota. I fished Minnesota up at the boundary waters up there around Ely, Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota's fantastic
Yeah,
for
and
smallest.
Michael Lendl says that I'll put you on 30 to 60 pound pacu. I know an area like it's in my backyard.
Because it is his backyard.
It is his backyard. But uh, so, but guys, we have actually had 12, right, or a little under 1,200 people watching it right now. So, again, we can't thank y'all enough for y'all coming
And
on
you guys
here
are always present, man.
every week, and I mean, y'all keep us going. I mean, just because we see the love that we get from y'all,
Oh
uh,
man.
it's just phenomenal, and it allows us to be able to get uh,
Absolutely. Come
uh,
over here. Yeah, I
come
want to
on.
introduce y'all to my partner
This
and the
this
man that runs
this
Fellsmere Fishing Headquarters.
this guy's a heart and soul of Fellsmere Fishing HQ right here, boys. Let me tell you, this guy right here is the man.
Yeah.
This is the man right here.
What's up, boys?
What's
The
up,
What's
brother?
man
up?
right
You
here.
doing
What's
good?
going on?
We talking to?
So,
We got Colin and Norm. Colin
so
and
what's up,
Norm.
brother? No.
What's up, boys?
What's going on,
So
man?
we
Y'all
hopefully
been fishing?
hopefully we're out fishing all the time. As long as I'm not slinging little Debbie cakes, I'm out fishing. So,
Let that be cool.
so,
I hear you, son.
so,
All
but
right, boys. We love y'all.
Yeah, man.
yeah, love you
Appreciate
too,
you guys.
man. And we real quick, we want to ask y'all one last question, and then Norman, before you ask that question, can you tell us what we got going on next week?
Yeah. And again, just like Colin say, guys, Mike, Steven, we appreciate coming on again, man. It's always a pleasure when we get a chance to talk fishing with you guys. Just the world of knowledge you guys have, just outstanding. But anyway, make sure to catch us live every Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, next week we will not be live due to Halloween, but we are actually going to still be airing same time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have our show taped next week. We will not be live because of Halloween. Next week's guest on a taped episode is going to be Caleb Bell, which Caleb is a legit hammer, a guide up here in this area, but one of the best that I've ever known in graphing and electronics. So we're going to get into a lot of that. The week after, though, our first episode in November, we will be back live again, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our guest coming up on November 7th is going to be Elite Series Pro John Cox is going to be joining the show on the 7th. But anyway, guys, this is a question that we ask all of our guests kind of to end the show. And I think the first time you guys have been on, you had this question too. But anyway, let's get right into it. If you were to have one person on your boat that you, and I guess we're going to ask both of you indivially, that you
All
could have.
three of you. We'll do
Yeah,
all three of you.
there you go. Have on your boat. Now, this person can be passed away or still with us. Who would that person be that you want to fish with for the day, and why would you want to fish with them?
Go ahead, Pat.
Oh, I mean, you say if passed away. I mean, my dad. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
you know, Pat Kelly Senior was by far the best of all time. Um, and it's that whole thing about, one thing that we like to promote is, kids fishing. And, we get so excited when fathers come into this shop with their kids
Yeah.
or
Oh
mothers,
yeah.
either one, you know, um, and teaching them fishing, and like my dad did to me. And my dad fished on pro level, and all most of the pros know my dad. And it wasn't even about that. It was just the time spent with him, and learning, from your dad. Or and even, as far as learning goes, I mean, just fishing with other people. I fish with Steve. I feel like Steve and Mike. I mean, these guys, they're from up. They fished up north, and they fish different waters. And I've learned so much. And I'm born and raised down here in South Florida, but I've learned so much from these guys, that has made me a better fisherman down here. Because
Right.
they're they're finesse. They know about finesse fishing. We're not real big finesse fishermen down here, but it
Right.
has stepped up my game, in the wintertime when the bite is tough. Just fishing with Steve. I mean, I've learned so much how to catch fish during the cold fronts and stuff like that. So yeah, fishing with other people is a big deal.
It
It's
is.
awesome.
But your dad was the handle.
But my dad was, by far, I mean, amazing,
Right.
amazing to fish
That's
with.
awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you, Mike.
Well, y'all probably gonna think I'm corny, but if I have one person to fish with ever on my boat, it would be my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and I would ask him to teach me how to be a better fisher of men.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I tell, we've had that, because faith is big. I mean, in my life and all that. And so is every time that I get a chance, I mean, I try to share. I don't try to miss an opportunity to be able to spread the word. But we've had that answer a couple of times, Mike, to be honest with you. And I tell people every time, he's probably, if I had him on the boat with me, he's going to probably be like, hey, stupid, other side of the boat. So, I mean, I'm just letting you
Well, I
know.
think I had to put the rods and everything down. They pretty much jumped in the
Right,
boat.
right, right. So, but what
Well,
about you, Stephen?
since we never know when the last day is going to be the last day for us on this earth, it would be my son,
Yeah,
because I have built more time and more built our relationship stronger more on that bass boat sitting outside here than I have anywhere. And,
yeah,
um, you know, fishing itself has done a lot for me, not just monetarily or anything like that, but building relationships with people.
Yeah.
yeah.
That it's been huge, and that is something that I'll never forget, and I am thankful for that. And but if I had one day with one person, it would absolutely be my son, because I would want to leave him with something positive and
That's awesome.
something natural and
That's awesome.
something clean,
Yeah.
wholesome, wholesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and it,
yeah,
and and it's amazing. In which we talk about this, Norman and I, and we'll talk about it, and it's like how, like, it's like therapy for us to be able to go out on the water, and to be able to have somebody that's that special, and it does not have to be some big shot pro name. It could be just like, I mean, it could be your father, or your grandfather, your mom, or whoever, your son, your daughter, or whatever, and making those memories with whoever that is the reason why we do it. And the fishing community is so amazing that I think people take for granted of the fishing community, because the fishing community 9 times out of 10 is all about family and kids. And but it, a lot of people, especially some of the younger people, all they see is the social media, and being on these big tournaments, fishing big tournaments, and to be able to go out with guys like you, um, to be able to take that in and see really what fishing is all about. And that's the reason why we named this the podcast Deck Talk, because we want this to be like we're out on the boat with y'all just chit chatting. And because when we're out on the boat, there's no telling. Well, there's no telling what's being said out on the boat. There's no telling what rabbit holes are going to go down, and so that's the reason why we named it Deck Talk, is because we want it to be just as casual, just like we're out there on the boat fishing on the deck of the boat. And so, but y'all are exactly, I mean, correct. I mean, just the like I know I can call y'all up anytime and be like, hey, I got this going on. I'm doing something. And I know that y'all are going to be the first people that are going to be like, all right, what do you need? And we're going to,
Absolutely.
we'll do whatever to help out. Um, and that's the fishing community. I know that there's people that I can call big companies, small companies, and they're doing the same thing. But I know we are proud to be able to have y'all part of the Deck Talk podcast to come on. And as this has been the second episode that y'all have been on, and because we think of y'all as family, and one of these days we're going to get down there here pretty soon, because I want to be able to get out on again with y'all, and again, y'all are more than
But we
welcome
gotta
if
have
y'all have.
you and Norm at the same time. It can't just be one or the other. We gotta have both now.
Oh
We're
yeah.
gonna have
Oh,
we're gonna have a fish off. We're gonna have a
oh
fish
shoot,
off.
that's a fish off with who? Me and Norman,
Yeah,
or
you
with
too.
all of us? Oh
You
shoot,
too.
Well, that's got to be
I'll
about competition.
I'll smoke him. I'll
Because with these
smoke him.
guys, we're having a
It's
competition.
going to have fun.
Oh, it'll be
I'll
fun.
I'll smoke him. I tell you.
Smoke who?
Norman will not know.
Smoke
Again,
who?
I
Smoke
tell you,
who?
you're going to
Down,
realize,
down,
Stephen and
down,
Mike, that
down in Florida,
Started.
you're gonna be in my neck of the woods in Florida.
I,
Yeah, up
you're.
here I can see, but yeah, down there you come into my waters down there, buddy.
I,
Oh,
hey,
I
y'all.
will jack your
Hey,
ass up so high.
Yeah,
I'm
he's going
getting
to
a low
realize
battery
when.
warning, boys. So if all of a sudden we
Yeah,
disappear, you know what happened.
I don't know
All
where my
right, sounds good, man.
I gotta go
But
grab my boots because the crap's starting to flow around here.
so, but guys, thank you again for coming on, and we've been let's see, um, we we've been
great.
on we've been trying to get it off there, I guess, for the past 20 minutes, but we just keep on chit chatting. But guys, it's again, thank y'all for coming
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
and so hopefully we'll be walking through those doors here, but before too long, and being able
Yeah,
to see
sounds
y'all.
good. Man.
And guys, make sure if you book a trip with them, make sure you do tell them that y'all are from, that y'all seen them on the Deck Talk
Yeah.
podcast, and
Yeah, we'll
so
show you
just
some love.
so
We'll show you some
yeah,
love.
so yeah, they'll
Yeah.
make sure that you catch a fish if you do that. That's it, a fish. but guys, thank you
If you
again
don't
for
catch
coming
a
on.
fish, Pat will give your money back.
that's right.
Right.
So, but
Give us
guys,
something
thank
back.
you again for coming on, and I
Thank
hope
you
y'all
guys for
have
having me.
a blessed day, and
Yep. God bless you guys, man.
yeah, we'll see you out on the water, guys.
Tight
Thank
lines.
you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right.